At 2:01 a.m., the house is a sealed system. Every door is bolted, and the air is heavy with the absolute stillness of a secure home at night. Mason Blake is suspended in the shallow breathing of half-sleep. His world is defined by the familiar, rhythmic safety of his own bedroom. A sound punctures the stillness, a whisper, thin and dry, vibrating from somewhere deep inside the walls. The voice breathes the number 1. The interior origin of the sound is absolute. It did not drift in through a window or a vent. It began inside. Domestic security relies on the vacuum of safety. We trust that our walls form a definitive border between the protected interior and the chaotic world outside. The horror of the first whisper lies in the immediate failure of that border. The sound is low, but the realization is deafening. The barrier has already been breached. Mason moves through the kitchen and living room, his flashlight cutting through empty air. There are no broken windows, no open doors, and no physical intruder to confront. Then come the numbers 2 and 3. The voice is closer now, tracking his movement through the dark with impossible accuracy. This diagram illustrates the relationship between the rising count and Mason's shrinking environment. The numbers act as coordinates, systematically erasing the floor plan. This is the logic of an inescapable rhythm. The countdown replaces instinct with the certainty of an arriving end. The numbers 4 and 5 emanate from the staircase. The sound is no longer a distant vibration. It is a physical presence climbing towards the second floor. The countdown forces a victim to wait for their own expiration. It removes the possibility of a lucky escape, leaving only the sound of a timeline running out. At the number 6, the voice shifts. The flat numerical monotone is gone, replaced by a soft melodic tone that sounds almost like a smile. The voice says his name, Mason. This recognition transforms him from a generic occupant into a specific target, making the threat deeply personal. As the lights flicker and fail, the rational defenses of the house dissolve. The darkness in the hallway is no longer just an absence of light, it is an active predator. Mason retreats into the bedroom, slamming the door and forcing the mechanical lock into place to create a final physical barrier. The lock is a thin illusion. The voice reaches 8 from the other side of the wood, punctuated by the slow, grinding turn of the door handle. Barricades are useless against a threat that moves with the inevitability of a clock. The door isn't a shield, it is simply the last thing he will see. The hallway goes silent. The mechanical clicking of the door handle stops, leaving Mason in a vacuum of absolute, suffocating anticipation. The number 9 does not come from the door. It is a whisper delivered directly against the skin of Mason's neck, from a mouth already inside the room. Behind him stands a silhouette that defies human geometry, too tall for the ceiling, too thin to be physical, looming in the locked room. There is no violence. The entity simply breathes the final number, 10, with the quiet, calm finality of a task completed. The countdown wasn't tracking the entity's footsteps towards the bedroom. It was the precise measurement of the seconds Mason had left to exist. The movement through the house was a performance. The threat was woven into the silence from the start. As the count resets for the next house, it proves that some rhythms cannot be escaped.